What if I told you that a silent warning sign of heart failure could show up tonight while you're lying in your bed, and most people over 60 completely ignore it? And what's even more dangerous is that this one sign could either quietly damage your heart or begin reversing the problem in just 3 days. I've seen this happen again and again with my own patients, and what happened next shocked even their families. Welcome to Dr. Danzy Senior Health Tips. I'm Dr. Danzy, and today I'm going to show you something that could quite literally protect your heart, starting tonight. But listen carefully, because this is where most people make a deadly mistake. One of my patients, a 68-year-old man, came to me with something he thought was harmless. He said, "Doctor, I wake up at night feeling a little breathless. Sometimes I need to sit up to breathe better, but once I rest, it goes away." Now on the surface, this sounds minor, right? Just a small inconvenience, but inside his body, something far more serious was unfolding. His heart was struggling. You see, when your heart begins to weaken, especially in the early stages of heart failure, it can't pump blood efficiently. So when you lie flat at night, fluid starts to redistribute in your body. And where does that fluid go? Into your lungs. That's why you feel breathless. That's why you wake up suddenly. And that's why your body is quietly sending you a warning signal. But here's the problem. Most people ignore it. They think, it's just age. It's just tiredness. It's just a bad sleeping position. And this is exactly how heart failure creeps in, silently, dangerously. Now here's where the story takes a turn. This same patient ignored this sign for weeks. But one night, something changed. He woke up, gasping for air. Not mild discomfort, but panic. His chest felt tight, his breathing shallow, his heart racing. His family rushed him to the hospital. And that's when the truth came out. He was on the edge of heart failure. But what shocked him the most was when I told him, "This didn't start tonight. Your body has been warning you for weeks. Now stay with me, because what I'm about to reveal next is something most people never hear from their doctors. There is a simple nighttime habit that can either worsen this condition or help reverse it. And the difference comes down to one small decision. But before I tell you what it is, let's understand something very important. Your heart does not fail overnight. It weakens slowly, silently, step by step. A study of over 2,000 seniors found that nearly 40% of early heart failure cases showed symptoms only at night, not during exercise, not during the day, but when the body was at rest. Why? Because that's when hidden problems reveal themselves. And this is where most people get misled by a dangerous myth. They believe, if I don't feel chest pain, my heart is fine. But the reality is, heart failure doesn't always start with pain. It starts with subtle signs, like fatigue, like swelling in the legs, like waking up breathless at night. And here's where it gets even more dangerous. Some people actually adjust to these symptoms. They start sleeping with extra pillows. They avoid lying flat. They normalize discomfort. And without realizing it, they are adapting to a failing heart. Let me tell you about another patient, a 72-year-old woman who told me she hadn't slept flat in over a year. She thought it was normal aging. She said, "Doctor, I just feel more comfortable sitting up." But when we examined her, we found fluid buildup. Her heart was under strain, and her body had been compensating, silently, for months. But here's the turning point, and this is where hope comes in. Because when we identified the real issue and introduced one simple nightly change, her breathing improved, her sleep improved, and within days, her symptoms began to ease. Now you might be wondering, what exactly is this habit? What could possibly make such a difference? In just 3 days, I'm going to reveal it. But first, I need you to understand the trap, because this is where most people unknowingly harm their heart every single night. Many seniors, before going to bed, drink excess fluids, water, tea, milk, thinking it's healthy. And yes, hydration is important, but timing matters. Because when you overload your body with fluids at night, your heart has to work harder while you sleep. And if your heart is already weak, this becomes dangerous. Fluid accumulates, pressure builds, breathing becomes difficult, and your body struggles, silently, in the dark. But here's the part no one tells you. It's not just about how much you drink. It's about what you do immediately after. Because this is where the hidden solution lies. And this is where most people make a life-changing mistake. Before I reveal that, let me ask you something. Have you ever woken up at night, feeling slightly breathless, needing to adjust your position, or sitting up to feel better? If yes, do not ignore it, because your body may already be sending you an early warning. And what you do tonight could change everything. Now listen closely, because this is the bridge between danger and recovery. That simple habit is something almost no one pays attention to, yet it can reduce strain on your heart immediately. It involves how you position your body, how you manage fluid distribution, and how you support your heart while it rests. One of my patients followed this exact change, and within just 3 nights, his nighttime breathlessness reduced by nearly 60%. Not medication, not surgery, just awareness and a simple adjustment. But what happened next was even more surprising. His energy during the day improved, his swelling reduced, and for the first time in months, he slept peacefully. Now here's something critical. This is not a quick fix or a miracle cure. It's about removing stress from your heart at the most vulnerable time of day. And when you do that, your body begins to heal, slowly but powerfully. But before I show you exactly how to do this, there's one more myth we need to break. Because this myth is silently putting millions of seniors at risk, many people believe, if I can walk, talk, and function normally, my heart is healthy. But the truth is, heart problems often hide in plain sight. You may feel fine during the day, but your body reveals the truth at night. And if you ignore those signals, the consequences can be serious. That's why on Dr. Danzy Senior Health Tips, I always emphasize awareness over assumptions. Because the earlier you recognize the warning signs, the more power you have to change the outcome. Now in a moment, I'm going to walk you through the exact nighttime habit that can reduce this hidden strain on your heart, starting tonight. But before that, if you truly care about your heart health, and you want simple, practical guidance made specifically for seniors, make sure you subscribe to Dr. Danzy Senior Health Tips. Because what you learn here could protect not just your heart, but your life. And trust me, what I'm about to reveal next is something you'll wish you knew years ago, but more importantly, it's something you can start tonight. Now listen very carefully, because what I'm about to share with you could change the way your heart feels, starting tonight. That simple nighttime habit is how you position your body and manage fluid before sleep. Yes, something as simple as this can either reduce the strain on your heart or silently make it worse. And this is where most people get it completely wrong. They lie flat on their back immediately after drinking fluids without realizing what's happening inside their body. But here's the reality. When you lie completely flat, especially if your heart is already under stress, fluid from your lower body begins to move upward. It redistributes into your chest, and slowly, it begins to fill the lungs. That's when you feel that subtle breathlessness. That's when you wake up, uncomfortable, restless, confused, And this is exactly how early heart failure signals appear. Quietly, repeatedly, night after night. But here's the turning point, and this is the habit I want you to start tonight. Instead of lying completely flat, slightly elevate your upper body. Use 1 or 2 pillows, or adjust your bed if possible, so your chest is raised at a gentle angle, not sitting up fully, but not flat either. This position helps prevent fluid from rushing into your lungs. It reduces pressure on your heart, and it allows your breathing to remain stable throughout the night. Now you might be thinking, can something this simple really make a difference? Let me tell you what happened with one of my patients, a 70-year-old man who used to wake up at least 3 times every night, gasping for air. He thought it was normal. He thought it was just aging. But after we introduced this one change, elevating his upper body and adjusting his nighttime routine, within 3 days, his nighttime breathlessness reduced dramatically. Within a week, he was sleeping through the night, and within a month, his overall heart strain had improved. No complicated treatments, just a small but powerful correction. But wait, because this is where it gets even more important. Position alone is not enough, because there's another hidden factor that silently increases your heart's workload at night. And this is where many people unknowingly make things worse, even while trying to stay healthy. Let's talk about fluid timing. Now, hydration is important, absolutely, but drinking large amounts of fluids right before bed is one of the biggest mistakes I see, because your body doesn't stop processing fluids just because you're asleep. Your heart continues to pump, your kidneys continue to filter, and when there's excess fluid, your circulation system becomes overloaded, especially if your heart is already weak. A study of nearly 1,800 seniors showed that those who consumed high fluid amounts within 1 hour of sleep had nearly double the risk of nighttime breathlessness. Double. Now think about that for a moment. Something as simple as when you drink water could directly affect how your heart performs at night. So here's what I recommend. Try to reduce fluid intake at least 1 to 2 hours before bedtime. Not eliminate, just reduce. Give your body time to process fluids before you lie down. This small adjustment, combined with proper positioning, creates a powerful protective effect for your heart. And this is what I call the 3-night reset. Because when you follow this consistently, your body begins to respond very quickly. Now let me show you something even deeper, because this is where most people miss the bigger picture. Heart failure doesn't just affect your heart, it affects your entire system. Your lungs, your kidneys, your sleep quality, your energy levels, and most importantly, your quality of life. One of my patients once told me, "Doctor, I thought I was just getting older, but now I realize I was getting weaker." And that realization came just in time. Because here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Ignoring early warning signs doesn't make them go away. It makes them worse. But the good news is, catching them early gives you power. And this is where transformation begins. Let's go back to our earlier patient, the one who ended up in the hospital. After his diagnosis, we didn't just rely on medication. We focused on habits. Simple, consistent, daily habits. We corrected his fluid timing. We adjusted his sleeping position. We monitored his symptoms. And slowly, his body began to recover. Now, I'm not saying this replaces medical treatment, but what I am saying is, these small habits can dramatically support your heart. They reduce unnecessary strain, they improve circulation, and they help your body function more efficiently. Now here comes a question that many people ask me. What if I don't feel breathless at night? Does this still apply to me? And the answer is yes. Because prevention is always more powerful than treatment. Remember, nearly 40% of early heart issues show up silently, No pain, no dramatic symptoms, just small, subtle changes. And by the time noticeable symptoms appear, the condition may already be advanced. So if you're over 60, this is not just advice. This is protection. Now let's break another myth. And this one is very common. Many people believe, if I wake up at night to urinate, it's just a bladder issue. But in many cases, frequent nighttime urination, especially combined with breathlessness, can be linked to fluid redistribution and heart function. Because when you lie down, fluid moves back into circulation. Your kidneys process it, and you feel the urge to urinate. Now on its own, this may not seem alarming, but when combined with other signs, it becomes a pattern your body is trying to show you. And this is where awareness becomes life-saving. Now I want you to pause for a moment and reflect on your own nights. Do you wake up frequently? Do you adjust your position to breathe better? Do you feel more comfortable sitting up? If yes, don't brush it off, because these are not random events. These are signals, and your body is asking for help. Now here's something very important, and I want you to remember this. Your heart works hardest when you're not paying attention, when you're asleep, when you're resting, when you assume everything is fine. And that's why your nighttime habits matter more than you think, because this is when your body either recovers or struggles, and the difference comes down to awareness. Now, before we move forward, if you've learned something valuable so far, take a moment to support this mission. Subscribe to Dr. Danzy Senior Health Tips, because every video here is designed to give you simple, powerful knowledge that can protect your health and your independence. And if this message is helping you, share it with someone you care about, because you never know whose life it might quietly save. Now, in the next part, I'm going to reveal something even more critical. A hidden warning sign that often appears days before serious heart complications, and most people completely miss it. And what happened to one of my patients who ignored this sign will stay with you, because by the time he realized the truth, it was almost too late. So stay with me, because what comes next could change how you see your health forever. Now let me tell you something that most people don't realize until it's almost too late. There is another warning sign, a quiet, easily ignored signal that often shows up just days before a serious heart complication. And the dangerous part? It doesn't feel like a heart problem at all. It feels like tiredness, just low energy, just one of those days. But what happened next in one of my patients is something I will never forget. A 74-year-old woman came to me. She said, "Doctor, I feel more tired than usual. Even simple tasks feel heavy. No chest pain, no dramatic symptoms, just fatigue." Now most people would ignore this. They would blame age. They would say, "It's normal." But I asked her something very important. "Has anything changed at night?" She paused. Then she said, "I do wake up sometimes, feeling a little uncomfortable, and I've noticed my legs feel slightly heavier in the morning." That was enough for me to look deeper. Because fatigue, combined with subtle fluid retention, is one of the most overlooked early warning signs of heart strain. Here's what was happening inside her body. Her heart was not pumping efficiently, so blood flow to her muscles was reduced. That's why she felt tired. At the same time, fluid was slowly building up in her tissues. That's why her legs felt heavy. And at night, that fluid was shifting, affecting her breathing, her sleep, her recovery. But here's where the story becomes critical. She almost ignored it. She almost didn't come in, and just days later, her condition worsened. Her breathing became more difficult. Her fatigue turned into weakness, and she needed urgent medical attention. But because we caught it early, because she didn't wait too long, we were able to stabilize her, and within weeks, with the right treatment and the same simple nighttime habits I've shared with you, she improved, Now think about this for a moment. Think, what if she had ignored it completely? What if she had said, "It's just aging"? This is how dangerous assumptions can be. And this brings us to a powerful truth. Your body whispers before it screams. Fatigue, mild swelling, slight breathlessness. These are whispers. And if you listen early, you can change the outcome. But if you ignore them, they turn into emergencies. Now let's connect everything together. You've learned about nighttime breathlessness. You've learned about fluid timing. You've learned about proper sleeping position. And now, you understand the role of fatigue and fluid retention. This is the complete picture. This is how heart strain begins and how it reveals itself. Not all at once, but step by step. And this is where your power lies. Because prevention is not complicated. It's about awareness. It's about small, consistent actions. Let me give you a simple routine. Something I want you to start tonight. First, be mindful of your fluid intake in the evening. Avoid heavy drinking of fluids right before bed. Second, adjust your sleeping position. Keep your upper body slightly elevated. Support your heart while it rests. Third, pay attention to your body's signals. If you notice fatigue that feels unusual, if your legs feel heavier, if your nights feel restless, don't ignore it. And fourth, track your changes. Because improvement, even small, is a powerful sign. One of my patients once told me, "Doctor, I didn't realize how bad I felt until I started feeling better." And that's the beauty of this process. When your heart gets support, your whole body responds. Your sleep improves. Your breathing stabilizes. Your energy returns. And your confidence grows. Now let's break one final myth, because this one is extremely dangerous. Many people believe, if I start feeling better, the problem is gone. But the truth is, improvement is not the end. It's the beginning of responsibility, because heart health is not a one-time fix. It's a lifelong commitment. Those small habits, the ones that seem simple, are the ones that protect you over time. And this is exactly what we focus on here on Dr. Danzy Senior Health Tips. Not complicated treatments, not overwhelming advice, but simple practical steps that real people can follow. Because your health should never feel confusing. Now, before we close, I want you to remember something very important. Tonight, when you go to bed, you have a choice. You can follow the same routine, ignore the small signals, and hope everything is fine. Or you can take control, adjust your habits, listen to your body, and give your heart the support it needs. Because what you do tonight could affect how your heart feels tomorrow. And what you do consistently could protect your future. One of my patients said something that stayed with me. He said, "Doctor, I wish I had known this earlier. And maybe that's why you're here today. To know earlier, to act sooner, to protect what matters most. So take this seriously. Not with fear, but with awareness. Because your heart is not asking for perfection. It's asking for support. And sometimes that support begins with something as simple as how you sleep tonight." This is Dr. Danzy from Dr. Danzy Senior Health Tips, reminding you, your health is your greatest asset. Protect it, one small step at a time.